Good morning, class. So we are going to be doing a fraction review. So if you guys remember this format here, we start with our fraction, we convert it to a decimal, and your last step is to convert it to a percentage. Okay? So I want you to keep this format in mind when we are doing our practice problems. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and do our first example. Alright, so we have three 1/6 pieces. In other words, we can think of it as 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6. So our task is to try to figure out what is the fraction, what is the answer. So there's two ways to think of it. How many 1/6 pieces do you see? Or what is 1 plus 1 plus 1? So if your answer is 3/6, you are correct because we have three 1/6 pieces. We have our first step done. We have our fraction. Now our second step is to turn this fraction into a decimal. So if you guys remember, you have to divide in order to get that decimal number. So if you guys remember what we were practicing in class, the number at the top will always be the number that you put on the inside. So I'll say that again. So the number at the top always goes on the inside. The number at the bottom is always going to go on the outside. Number on the bottom, go outside. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and divide this. So how many times can you fit 6 into 3? Well, you can't because 3 is smaller than 6. So here's what we are going to do. We're going to add a decimal and we're going to add 0. So you can kind of think of this as a 30. So how many times can you fit 6 into 30? Well, if you have your multiplication chart, you will see that 6 can go into 30 5 times. 5 times 6 gives us 30. Then you are going to subtract. Once you subtract this, you have 0. So now your fraction is 0.5. We have our second step. We have our decimal. Now our very last step that we want to try to figure out is what is our percentage. So we could go ahead and rewrite 0.5. Alright, so if you guys remember, when you are writing 100%, there's 2 zeros, right? So you're going to move your decimal to the right 2 times. So you just go 1, 2. And you're going to add a 0 right here. So the number that we're going to use for our percentage is this right here. So that means our percentage is 50%. Okay, so we have our fraction, decimal, and our percentage. Alright, so after you have your answer, please make sure to show this part right here. I want you to do the triangle. This is showing me that you know how to convert a fraction to a decimal to a percentage, okay? So show me the steps on how you solve the problem, show me your answer, and then also make sure to have this in your picture that you send to me.